Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Election. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
And the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, now?
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone, and are you excited? It's Election Day in America. Yay! America, the land of milk and honey and fire Cheetos and stuff. I don't know. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday, a good week so far. And if you're not as excited as we are about the election, you're probably not going to enjoy the better part of the stream because that's what we're going to talk about for a lot of it. Not all of it, but some of it, most of it, a good portion of it. Anyway, how are you guys doing tonight? How are you, Satsu?
I am good. I am supposedly well rested, but my body didn't really get the email, so I've been sleeping most of the day, but you'd never know.
All right. Monkey, how are you?
I am sore. I slept through two cycles of medicine, and that wasn't good. But otherwise well.
Are you saddle sore?
No, that part doesn't happen.
Oh.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Work was thankfully quiet, and then it was kind of a nice, sedate day. I stayed away from really paying much attention to the election stuff, except early in the morning there was a live stream of somebody outside a voting place waiting for Beto O'Rourke to vote.
Oh, Jesus.
And so it was this long, I just sat there for a while, so they're live streaming outside where he's voting right now so that they can talk to him when he comes out. And so I sat there just kind of and there's me and four other people in the stream. And I was just like, oh my God, the suspense. My God, what will Beto say? And then he comes out, and then the camera, whoever was running the camera looked directly into the sun. So everything's washed out, and you just hear him talking oh my God, it's the sun. And so, yeah, that was exciting. That was as much as I really delved into election stuff today until about half an hour ago when I pulled up the CNN homepage, which has nothing but election stuff. But before we get there, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games, hit that like button if you have not already, and many of you have not, so please do. And please share our stuff, including this stream. If you have not already, please post it on the Twitter machine or Napster or Friendster or ICQ, if you still use ICQ. Is ICQ still alive?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So either way, do we have anything else to talk about? Oh, you guys are going to be streaming in addition to this, after this, to take in all of the other results that are going to come in after the show. Is that correct?
Kind of, sort of. I will be.
Okay.
Satsu has a game stream.
Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Not staying, but wanted to stop in and give you the money you deserve for that ad on Sunday. Uncle Rap album. Oh, God, for Bear. Because Lord knows he doesn't pull his weight like the rest of his country. Yeah,
his country can't pull their weight. They're getting fat like us.
Yeah, they're starting, and they have much smaller land size to deal with when it comes to that. So, but thank you, Three-Sided Coin. Yeah, the the unfucked records. I hadn't done a live ad in a year and a half, something like that. Something like that. Yeah, that was fun. I was also very inebriated. That helped too. If I still have that, tell you what, I will read that later as a little bonus, since a lot of people on here didn't hear it because it was on your stream or whatever. So yeah, anything else besides that to get into the schnuzz?
Lady Monkey's going to be gone for a few days, and now I'm sad.
Oh, will Grand Monkey come to visit? Maybe.
No, Grand Monkey's going with her.
Oh, so you're gonna be all by yourself?
I have my son, his fiance, and Pumpkin are here.
Okay, well, Pumpkin, that's true.
But
actually, first I should ask Monkey, give us the Pumpkin report.
Oh, she's doing good. She's sleeping 3 or 4 hours at a time, which sucks when you have a newborn, because trying to sleep on that schedule with them is hard. But she's eating well. She went to her first doctor's appointment yesterday, I think it was. She'd lost a couple of ounces, but that's normal for a baby. She'll start gaining them back. But she's so tiny and cute.
Witchy bitchy little baby.
And she keeps smiling at me.
Oh, of course she does, because you're grandpa.
That's right.
All right. Well, before we get into the election stuff, which will take up the bulk of the show, something did happen today that I was kind of glad to see in sort of one of those bittersweet moment ways. If you'll recall, recently, a Colorado man went on the news because his family was missing. And he went on the news to say, oh, I just hope we find them because I love them and I miss them. And then they were all found dead and buried. His 2 kids,
Shock.
His wife, who was also pregnant. Well, thankfully, this piece of shit has pled guilty.
Good.
So as to not drag out everything else or try to hide behind anything. Colorado man pleads guilty to killing pregnant wife, daughters, as part of a plea deal. Yes, to avoid the death penalty, I'm sure. A Colorado man who killed his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters pleaded guilty Tuesday as part of a deal that allows him to avoid the death penalty. Chris Watts, 33, pleaded guilty to the 9 charges he faced, including first-degree murder and unlawful termination of a pregnancy for the August slayings of his wife, Shannon, who was found in a shallow grave, and his 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste, whose remains were found in commercial oil tanks, because why not? Quote, I can only say that I hope there's a sense of closure for family members of the deceased, Rourke told reporters. That's a district attorney, Michael Rourke. I know that this will never truly be fully realized because obviously the tragedy that sits before us today is the loss of 4 beautiful lives. Watts will be sentenced November 19th and faces life in prison. Rourke said the plea deal asks the judge to make the first-degree murder sentences consecutive. So basically he's never getting out of jail, which is fine by me. Not much more to say. Just an absolute total piece of shit. And just those kind of things are the creepiest to watch when you watch like a news report or interview with somebody who then is later found out to be the killer when they're going like, where's my family? I miss my wife so much. And then, he was the guy that put a fishing spear through their head or something. It's just like, so. But anyway, there was not much to say about that. I just wanted to give an update because I saw that and it reminded me of things we talked about before. But we're not here for the senseless slaughter of people.
No, we want other criminals to talk about, like politicians.
Yes. So, so I've got the CNN page up.
I'm looking at their estimates here. These are fantabulous.
Yeah, we got these key races in here and all this. So I'm going to go over the big ones that they've got up right now and just where things stand.
Oh, you got a super chat before you do.
Oh, thank you, Ashley Mented. Hello, Scribe, Satsu, and Monkey. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. Oh, and happy election day. Well, thank you, Ashley. Happy election day to you too.
Hello.
Excuse me. Okay, so Florida governor. Right now, with 96% estimated reporting, DeSantis, the Republican, is at 50%, while Gillum, the Democrat, is at 48.8%. The difference between them is about 100,000 votes.
And looking at the election map, I think Gillum might win this one.
Could be. Thank you, Duck Dog. Fuck that flat waffle. Okay. Mr. Colorado. Yes.
Oh yeah.
No, I know what he said. I can read.
Okay.
I can read between the V's.
No, looking at the Florida election map, the states that are the counties that haven't reported fully are mostly blue.
Right. Yeah. So the Florida governor race is effectively neck and neck right now. Let's see. In the Texas Senate, almost the same thing right now with 55% reporting in. Ted Cruz is up just about like 40,000 votes or so, 50.1% to 49.2. So it's effectively a toss-up right now.
Again, looking at the map, generally the west coast of Texas and then your big cities tend to be blue. Most of them have reported in where all your little counties have not. So, yeah, I'm thinking Ted Cruz there.
Yeah, Ted'll probably squeak by. It'll probably be close, but we'll see. In Missouri, Claire McCaskill is losing, but only 4% are reporting in right now, so who knows? Hawley, the Republican, is at 61%, and McCaskill's at 35.7%. West Virginia Senate has been decided. Apparently, Joe Manchin has retained his seat, while whoever Morrissey was has lost.
Yeah, and that's one where they're calling that when there's still a whole bunch not reported. That's how.
Yeah. So, yeah, because only 59% are reporting in, but apparently CNN has decided that Manchin wins. What else? Well, there was some other... let's see. Elizabeth Warren has retained her seat, which isn't that much of a surprise.
Yeah, that's not a shock at all.
There are some historic events. Let's say Rashida, I don't know how to say her last name, Tlaib, has been elected. She's the first Muslim woman to be elected to Congress.
She's gonna blow it up, y'all.
And then what was the other one?
Not racist.
Let's see. And Ayanna Pressley is officially Massachusetts' first Black Congresswoman. What else? Let's see. And CNN projects that Amy Klobuchar and Kristen Gillibrand are both reelected to the Senate.
Not surprising. Most of the Senate's not going to change hands.
Yeah, the real question comes down to the House. Is the House going to go one way or the other? Right now, we're still at 65 Republicans, 61 Democrats. But of course, there's plenty of stuff to come in as time goes on. Now, while we wait for things to update a little bit, because these things are going to evolve in the minutes as we go, I thought I'd sort of mix it up a little bit. Because why play format all the time, right?
Sure.
Right.
Let's mix it up.
So, what's your favorite political movie?
Oh God.
Yeah. There you go. Didn't see that one coming, did you?
Oh, there's not that many political movies that I've watched, to be honest. I guess my favorite. What's the Eddie Murphy one?
The Distinguished Gentleman.
Yes.
Satsu. Do you happen to have a choice? Probably not, but
I'd have to literally think about any ones that I've seen, which could take a while. So.
If I had two that come to mind, I'd probably say All the President's Men and The Contender. The Contender's really good with Jeff Bridges and God, who else is in there? Christian Slater, and I forget her name all of a sudden, the star of the fucking movie. But yeah, that's a really good political one. And I'm curious what becomes a political thriller after Trump? Like, can people take politics nearly as seriously anymore after we have a game show host for a president?
Well, the New York, sorry, I'm looking at the New York results. Having a game show host for a president, I mean, is that really different than what we've had before? Just because some of them have been...
Except it's literally true. It is literally true. It's not just a euphemism or something. It's actually the case.
I don't think it really changes much.
Yeah. Diesel Dave says Man of the Year, which, is kind of apropos to the whole thing because, the Man of the Year, the plot was he was a talk show host who by a computer glitch effectively got elected president. And some of the same sort of questions that, kind of apply to the whole Trump concept appeared in that movie. Thank you, Terry Diamantis. Monkey and Sinatra should team up. They could, I assume, call themselves Frank Sinatra, but they'd better get in quick before someone famous uses that name. Ha ha. Ha ha. Joan Allen, One Ton Hammer says, that's right, Joan Allen in The Contender. Let's see. Furry Kitten says, you had Reagan, so not too much difference. Yeah, but Reagan was governor of California before he was president. He was at least a politician and not just a celebrity. So, yeah, I mean, he was, just like, Schwarzenegger was a celebrity before he was governor of California. But let's see. Devil Fruit Zero says, we had a sex monster as a president before a game show host. People wouldn't shut up about that. Oh, well, I suppose. Anyway. So, yeah, okay, well, the political movie thing didn't go over very well. Never mind. Just thought I'd try. You guys
I just don't think there's that many political movies. They don't tend to hold up very well.
Well, it depends. I mean, like if you watch Redford's The Candidate, it's the themes and the concepts in that movie are timeless because it's all about politics. And even though the hairstyles and the style of dress and everything are ridiculously dated, the same conundrums about how to, run for office and mortgage out your principles for the sake of getting votes are always the same. Another one I'd recommend to people if you can find a copy. It's a documentary called A Perfect Candidate, and it's a documentary that follows Oliver North running for Congress back in like 94 or something, 95, maybe earlier. And it is one of the most insightful political movies I've ever seen because the amount of candor some of those guys on Oliver North's team that they relay to the documentarians is amazing. And it gives some real interesting insight into how campaigns are run. Let's see, the one with Michael Douglas. Oh, The American President. Yeah, that's
pretty good. His speech at the end was awesome.
Yes. No one writes a good presidential speech like Hollywood. Yeah. I mean, Independence Day taught us that. Let's see. So, any other updates here? So, what are the races that we should be paying attention to? I mean, which competitions do we really care about at this point? I think it's just the ones in the House, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the Beto beat off O'Rourke and Ted Cruz, but that one, I mean, that is a entirely media made circus.
Yeah.
It's pretty meaningless. Can Democrats take the Senate? Sure. Are they likely to? No. But Dave, yes, that was also a decent one point.
Dave's good. Yeah. That's Dave with Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline. What the hell's the name of the girl in that movie?
You mean Sigourney Weaver?
Yes, Sigourney Weaver. Thank you. Well, Senate-wise, there's really not much to look at. It's going to be the House and whether or not the Democrats can take 23 seats.
Okay, now there was a story I wanted to read now that you brought up Beto. But unfortunately, either there was never a story or it's just a Twitter headline. Or maybe it's embedded in this video that I can't listen to. Reuters tweeted this out a little while ago. Win or lose, Beto O'Rourke set to emerge victorious.
Yeah. I saw that headline. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Beto's gonna okay.
Maybe they're referring to something. There's a video attached to this tweet, and I can't listen to it or watch it right now. So maybe whatever they're talking about is in there. But I have no idea what that's supposed to mean.
Well, I haven't read it. My guess would be that it's like he's become this national figure, so he's going places kind of thing. Except when you lose and say he tries running again, all you have is you got your ass kicked by Ted Cruz. Yeah, you raised a lot of money, but Beto beat off. It's not because of you. And guys, let's stop pretending it's because Beethoven is out there exciting crowds. It's because people want to take down Ted Cruz. That's why he's got so much publicity. That's why he's got so much money. It has nothing to do with who he is.
Yeah, he raised, or I should say, the fact that he's fighting against Ted Cruz raised $61.8 million during his campaign, almost twice as Ted Cruz raised, and yet right now they are neck and neck in the polls or in the elections.
Yeah, now, I don't think anyone would normally vote for somebody named Beat Off an Orc. But
yeah, Beat Off an Orc is not a good name.
Let's see.
The Florida race is really interesting.
Do tell.
Scott in the Senate race, Scott's over Nelson right now. It's 50.4 to 49.6, and that's with 97% in. They might hold on. The Republicans might get that Senate seat there. But almost as interesting is the DeSantis Gilliam one for governor. Because that's another one that's been a national thing. DeSantis almost immediately was accused of being racist for what the fuck was it he said? God damn it! Now I'm gonna have to look that up. We talked about the story. This is another one though that Democrats were putting a lot of time and money into is to try to get the governorship and Senate seat out down there in Florida, and it's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close. Like right now, DeSantis is over Gilliam by 75,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Let's see. Let's see a story here. Dems flip 2 GOP seats in early returns for House battle. The Democrats flipped their first 2 Republican-held House seats Tuesday in Florida and Virginia, but fell short in a closely watched race in Kentucky as they worked to wrest control of the chamber from the GOP and confront President Donald Trump. Okay. With polls closing across the East, one of the top Democratic recruits, retired Marine fighter pilot Amy McGrath, lost her bid to oust the three-term Representative Andy Barr in the Lexington area district. In the Miami area, former Clinton administration cabinet member Donna Shalala defeated television journalist Maria Elvira Salazar in a costly roller coaster contest. Virginia Representative Barbara Comstock, among the most endangered GOP incumbents, lost to Jennifer Wexton, a prosecutor and state legislator. She was among the record number of women running this year. As Election Day unfolded, Democrats were increasingly confident, predicting they would pick up at least 23 seats needed for a House majority on the strength of voter enthusiasm. Well, I guess we'll see. So there's that. Let's see. Thank you, Serenity Lotus. Get that old fucker Nelson out. FL home state. I don't know. Oh, is that Bill Nelson? That's what I'm thinking of.
I'm guessing Nelson's not. That's not.
I don't know Florida politicians.
Okay, yeah.
The Nelsons in politics that I'm aware of. Let's see.
It looks like Scott's gonna. I mean, I am curious how there's 98% of the vote for governor, but only 97% for Senate in that same state.
Don't know how those get processed, I guess.
That's kind of weird, ain't it?
Let's see what else we got. Broken machines to threats of violence among voting problems. Oh, really? Voting machine glitches, long lines, and misinformation were among the problems that voters faced at the polls on Tuesday. The cause of the problems ran the gamut from human error to threatened violence to technological errors to Mother Nature as storms pummeled several states in the South. The issues added more chaos to a bitterly fought election that will decide who controls the Senate, House, and hundreds of down-ticket races. Let's see if they got specific stories here. Okay, voting was mostly peaceful across the country on Tuesday, but there were a few reported problems, including heated confrontations between poll workers and voters. In Texas, a white poll worker, not a stripper, but a white poll worker, was accused of bumping a black voter during an argument at a polling site and suggesting that the voter could better understand her if she'd worn, quote, my blackface makeup, unquote. Oh.
Why people got to be assholes?
The Houston Chronicle reported the dispute began over a discrepancy with the voter's address. The confrontation escalated, and witnesses confirmed to the newspaper that the worker said, quote, maybe if I'd worn my blackface makeup today, you could comprehend what I'm saying to you. Wow.
Yeah, because black people can only understand what you say to them if you paint your face black. That's fucking retarded.
This is so. I just want to say, with all the stories I've seen today about long lines at the voting polls and everything, this is just a bigger and bigger argument to try to instate mail-in voting more broadly across the country.
Yeah,
it really is better. Trust me, to do it that way than to have to run down to some polling booth or whatever.
Serenity Lotus says, I can't stand Scott, but damn, Nelson has to go. By the way, guys, I'm going to try to pay more attention to chat because you guys know your races where you are. Tell us your opinions of what's going on out there.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable with it, give us a general sense of where you're at and what races you're looking at or what matters to you. Let's see, what else we got? We got voters misdirected. Election watchers say some voters are reporting being directed to wrong polling places by third-party election help websites such as TurboVote.
Go to your fucking...
Yeah, go to your local... I mean, you should have gotten a voter's pamphlet in the mail, okay? And that thing is going to tell you everything you need to know. Don't go to a third-party thing, for fuck's sake. Sophia Hall, an attorney who was working at an election protection command center in Boston on Tuesday, says they received several such reports in Massachusetts and are aware of reports in other states. Hall says they've also received reports of people being told they aren't registered when they arrive at the polls, even though they thought their registration had been confirmed by a third-party site. TurboVote is a tool created by Democracy Works that helps people register and sends voters email and text reminders about registration deadlines, upcoming elections, and where to vote. TurboVote doesn't actually register voters. They couldn't if they wanted to, but facilitates registration with state election offices. Okay. And then we got the machines malfunctioning. Let's see. 41 states were using computerized voting machines that are more than a decade old. 43 states were using machines that are no longer manufactured, making them more difficult to service when they break down. Yet Congress has repeatedly balked at appropriating the more than $1 billion needed upgrade to more reliable systems. By Tuesday afternoon, the nonpartisan election protection hotline had received about 17,500 calls from voters experiencing problems at their polling places. Yeah, well, that sucks.
With 70% in, beat off an ogre is ahead.
Uh-oh. Beto might make it.
Let's
see, going to scroll up a bit.
Ain't no fucking way.
Let's see, Backscan says, Scribe Light, wouldn't mail-in voting be at a higher risk of voter fraud and losing votes? Not at a higher risk, no. I mean, the ballot is sent to your address, and then you can send it in, and you have to sign it in the whole 9 yards. So
not unless you think mail fraud is going to be a big thing.
Right. The only thing that I would suggest, if they haven't already, the states that do have mail-in voting, don't make people put a stamp on it. It's just don't make them pay to send in their ballot. Don't do that. That's stupid. Let's see. Devil Fruit Zero says Kate Brown needs to be flushed down in Portland, Oregon. Okay, I don't know who that is. But take your word for it.
Kate Brown.
Harvest Marva says, don't care about my state. Did you hear Michigan now has its first Muslim congresswoman, Ranting Monkey?
We talked about that a minute ago. We're also going to reelect Debbie Stabenow, apparently, because we're fucking stupid. But that's all right. James was not a lot better. But, I actually like Jay James. He's the black candidate nobody's talking about because he's a Republican. John James, not Jay James. Sorry. But he's losing to a woman, so that's okay.
Ebony Williams says, my dad was insistent about voting Democrat across the board. I could not bring myself to do that. Well, I talked to my dad the other day, and he said that he was just going to do this. This was his rule for voting this year. If the person was an incumbent, he was going to vote for the other guy. Didn't matter the party. And I was like, okay. I did ask him if he read his voter's guide before he made those choices, but he says, I don't care. I'm like, okay, well, that's up to you. I didn't quite set a rule like that for myself. I actually read the voter's guide, and I voted for some Democrats. I voted for some Republicans. It all depended on whether they sold me on their pitch or not.
There's a couple of people that are telling me that Debbie's down and John James is up. Looking at the CNN one here, how much? It's 30% reported in. Stabenow 54, James 43.
Serenity Lotus says, Scribe, did you read about rumors of illegals voting in Texas? Well, that'd be quite a feat. But
we hear that all the time, every fucking election.
Yeah, every year, every election, we hear that there are illegals voting, and if there are, the number is so tiny as to be insignificant, and if they are, they're jumping through some crazy fucking hoops just to vote and be completely ineffective.
Most of what we see in these things is because there is voter fraud, guys. No matter what people tell you, it's not as rampant as what some people tell you, but you're much more likely to find out a dead person voted than an illegal.
Yeah. I've heard stories of people voting twice because their dead relative was still on the rolls, got a ballot, or was on the registration down at the polling place, and they voted twice. Mm-hmm. And that was voter fraud. It was not a giant conspiracy that would actually swing an election. No. Unless your municipality has like 20 people in it or something. Let's see what else.
Let's taking some looks around the country. Let's go back to that Senate race down here in Texas. Yeah, we're still 70% in. O'Rourke is up by almost 2 percentage points, which I bet has a lot of people happy. But again, looking at the state, it's there's a lot of parts of that state that are quite red that have not been counted yet, and most of the blue areas have. So I figure that one will be called here. We'll give it an hour, and it'll be called, and it'll be called for Cruz.
All right, guys. So Monkey's going to keep an eye on the results, and if anything really dramatic happens, I'm sure he'll yell at us. But in the meantime, we're going to go to MSS News because it's about that time. So if you guys,
before you do, can we just go over some quick exit polls from CNN?
Sure.
Most Democrats who are voting are young. They are. Let's see. 18 to 29. See, I don't understand how they did these polls, because like it says there's 67%, and then from 30 to 44 there's 58%. So we're already over 100. 45 to 64 is 50%, and then maybe that's of total voters in that range. Yeah. So got a lot of young. Yeah, that's what it is. A lot of young Democrats voting. The majority of voters voting Republican are 66 or older.
Sounds about right.
Let's see. I don't need more age. Race. Most Republicans voting are white. 90% of blacks voted Democrat. 68% Latino, according to this. 77% of Asian, and other races. 55% going Democrat. Race by gender. White men. The white men are out there voting for Republicans again. See, white women 48% right now. They didn't listen. Everybody else, of course, is voting Democrat. Are you a college graduate? Republicans, not so much. There was one more I wanted to say. Income. The people who make a lot of money are voting Republican. 51% are voting Republican. So we'll check back in on these after some MSS news.
We're also being told to go check out Nate Silver's 538 for updates and things. So, but in the meantime,
isn't he running a podcast? That's hard to watch while we're doing this.
I have no idea.
Or listen to.
So this one comes from Massive Dynamics. I think this was sent to us the other day, so it might be a little old. The American Civil War didn't end, and Trump is a Confederate president.
Shut up. What's the name of the dickhead who wrote this?
This is Rebecca Solnit, Solnit. This is from The Guardian, so it might be British. I'm just going to read a little bit of it because this goes on for quite a while. In the 158th year of the American Civil War, also known as 2018. Okay. The Confederacy continues its recent resurgence. Its victims include black people, of course, but also immigrants, Jews, Muslims, Latinos, trans people, gay people, and women who want to exercise jurisdiction over their bodies. The Confederacy battles in favor of uncontrolled guns and poisons, including toxins in streams, mercury from coal plants, carbon emissions into the upper atmosphere, oil exploitation in previously unprotected lands and waters, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So yeah, that's what the Confederacy was. They were just polluters.
That last part I added in, just so you know.
I know the dogs and cats, but
its premise appears to be that protection of others limits the rights of white men, and those rights should be unlimited. So poisoning the water is improving the lives of white men.
Yeah.
Just making sure I understand that one. The Brazilian philosopher of education, Paulo Freire, once noted that, quote, the oppressors are afraid of losing the freedom to oppress, unquote. Of course, not all white men support extending that old domination, but you just told us that, okay. But those who do see themselves and their privileges as under threat in a society in which women are gaining powers, what kind, like psychic powers? And demographic shift is taking us to a U.S. in which white people will be a minority by 2045. If you are white, you could consider that the Civil War ended in 1865. Or if you're sane,
You know when the war fucking ended.
Yeah, but the blowback against Reconstruction, the rise of Jim Crow, the myriad forms of segregation and deprivation of rights and freedoms and violence against black people kept the population subjugated and punished into the present in ways that might as well be called war.
No, all of the shit you just named was done by the 60s. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm done with that one.
It might as well be called war, though.
Nutbag. Okay.
I need to drop and come back. I am.
All right.
You guys are all broken up for me. I'll be right back.
Oh, well, I'm all broken up for you, monkey. A non-political story for a second. This one comes from Froggy. If it'll come up. It's debating as to whether it will. Okay. Recently unearthed Roman latrine was full of dirty jokes.
Okay.
So somebody's writing dirty jokes on the bathroom wall. Mosaics uncovered in a Roman bathroom in modern-day Turkey reminds us that bathroom humor has ancient roots. I think bathroom humor in one form or another has been around since, we could communicate with one another. Anyone who's had the privilege of visiting a public restroom has likely encountered more than a few dirty jokes and obscene scrawlings. The phenomenon is nothing new. Yeah, and so this is news how. The ancient Romans were notorious for their graffiti, and much of it is preserved in Pompeii. But a new find in present-day Turkey may take Roman bathroom humor to a new level. As Megan Gannon at Live Science reports, archaeologists have unearthed a latrine decorated with suggestive mosaics, meaning the dirty jokes were built right into the walls. Okay, the off-color outhouse was found by the Antiochia ad Cragum, I'm probably fucking that up, archaeological research project, which has been excavating the archaeological site along the southern coast of Turkey since 2004. The team uncovered 2 mosaic scenes dating to the 2nd century AD in the latrine of a bathhouse during the last few days of the dig season this past summer. While public latrines were common in Roman-era cities and villages, very few have survived. Are you going to tell us what it was? Let's see. One tells a version of the legend of Ganymede, a beautiful Trojan prince whom Jupiter kidnapped and brought to Olympus to make him serve as his cupbearer and concubine. Ganymede is often portrayed as the god of homosexual love. Typically, Ganymede is depicted with a hoop and an elater or stick, which is intended to, quote, underline his boyish innocence. In the mosaic, however, Ganymede is shown with a stick and a sponge on the tip, possibly so he could clean the latrines. Okay. Well, that's exciting stuff. I'm glad that they found that, I guess.
Just some
Diesel Dave asked Illinois governor. Illinois governor.
Let's see.
I don't know. You tell me, monkey.
Governor, they're not yet. The projections are not yet available.
Let's see. We already read one from Massive.
CNN is calling a flip in one of the Senate seats. Indiana's going red.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Senate. Let's see. This one comes from the Reaper, if it'll come up. Texas poll worker tells undercover reporter that they have allowed, quote unquote, tons of DACA recipients to vote.
Oh, no. That would be highly illegal.
Well, let's consider the source as I read the first sentence. James O'Keefe's Project Veritas released an undercover sting video on Tuesday from a polling station in Texas that appears to show an election official saying that they've had tons of deferred action for childhood arrivals recipients voting in the election. Project Veritas's undercover journalist, posing as the girlfriend of a potential DACA voter, visited a polling station in Travis County, Texas, to ask election officials if he could vote. Quote, if he has his ID, that's all he needs if he's registered, an election worker told the undercover journalist. Quote, right, it doesn't matter that he's not a citizen, the journalist replied, adding that she had heard on the internet that he could not vote. Quote, no, don't pay attention to that, bring him up here, the official said. If they're not registered, DACA recipients can't register to vote, though.
No.
So if they show up,
supposed to be able to.
Yeah. Well, okay. They don't say anything about. Okay. Well.
No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just throwing that out there for anybody. But well, they can't. No, when you register to vote and everything, they should not be able to.
Yeah. So if somebody hands them a ballot, they're breaking the law. That's it. But then I don't know. So we'll see if that gets any traction. Let's see. Then there's that one. What's this? Okay, this one comes from senior staff reporter Jack the motherfucking Cockring. And let me check to make sure that no other super chats are there. Sorry, guys. Google is a jerk, and if you super chat anything under $5, it doesn't tell me that there's something there unless I have to go scrolling for it. So just to make sure, in case I miss anything, because I didn't mean to.
Yeah, if you hear us complain about that, we're not complaining about you. We're complaining about YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube and Google doing that. I don't understand why some rate and notice and others don't. So Jack Cochran sends this one. Burger King employee fired after racist rant at customers goes viral.
Oh, shit. Let me call Squishy.
Yeah, right. A worker at a Burger King drive-thru has been fired after a video emerged online of a profanity-laced rant at two customers who were apparently complaining about a hygiene issue. Okay. Footage captured from inside a car by one of the two customers shows a black female employee being rude and hurling abuse at the pair, seemingly because they were asking for a refund due to the fact that a manager had touched their food after handling a cell phone. Okay. The incident took place on October 3rd at the 163rd Street Burger King in North Miami Beach. At the beginning of the clip, the female worker can be heard yelling, quote, "Put it on Snapchat, bitch. Fuck you, you white piece of shit," unquote. The male driver of the car responds by saying, quote, "We're not even white, we're Hispanic," after which the female passenger who was videotaping the clip can be heard shouting, "Get it right."
Nice.
At this point, the Burger King employees shut the drive-thru window briefly before the female staffer in question opens it again, making a derogatory remark about the woman in the car. Quote, "I don't care. You know what? At least I'm not working at Burger King," the female passenger counters. The employee responds by saying, quote, "I have two parents. I go to school. This job, the money I make is to blow up, so it don't matter," unquote. Okay. Anyway, that's pleasant.
CNN is projecting that the Democrats have picked up 2 more seats. It's only 19 they need now, according to CNN.
It's the final countdown. What else
they just called Pennsylvania House 17 for Lamb over Rothfuss. Both are incumbents because of redistricting. So I didn't say that word very well. Redistricting.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're giving it to the Democrat there. So only 19 to go, Democrats.
Let's see. I'm not going to read the full story here because the headline kind of says it all, and it's kind of a non-story anyway. But this one comes from Mashisu. New York brewery petitions Congress to make Election Day a federal holiday by sending empty beer cans to the Capitol. Well, I don't know that the gesture is going to do much, but I do agree that Election Day should be a federal holiday.
I agree.
Let's see.
Only if you're going to vote.
Yeah, give everybody the opportunity and the freedom to move around and not have to put it down to just get after for those places that still require you to go to a voting booth and a polling place and such. If you got to go to work and you've only got a couple hours after work in order to get to do that and eat for the night, I'd say give the whole day off. That's just me.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be a state by state thing. If you don't, if you have, have to have physical voting going on, have the day off. If you've got mail-in stuff.
Well, don't a lot of other countries do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one comes from Cynical Lindsay. Thanos did nothing wrong. Superheroes are more violent than villains, according to new study.
Oh, fuck off.
What? This is from comicbook.com. Okay, I don't know much about comicbook.com or if they have politics, but anyway, if you're a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's one thing you probably know with a solid measure of certainty. Thanos is the villain of Avengers Infinity War. After all, he went to pretty brutal lengths to acquire the Infinity Stones and then snapped his fingers and dusted countless lives across the universe. That's clearly the work of a villain. It turns out that depends on your perspective and how you weigh out overall actions and consequences. A new study from Pennsylvania State University and presented at the American Academy of Pediatrics finds what? Okay, is this real?
They presented it. Okay.
Okay, so the Pennsylvania State University presented a study to the American Academy of Pediatrics about comic book characters. All right. The study finds that while some villains may have some dubious morals and values when it comes to their actions, it's the heroes who carry out more violence overall.
He killed half the universe.
Well, wait, you know why that is? Okay, here's why that is. Usually in most superhero movies, you've got your superhero, whoever it is, and you have the bad guy, whoever that is, and you have the bad guy's goons, whoever they are, whether they're robots or ninjas or whatever. So if you're watching Daredevil, yeah, you're right. As an individual, Daredevil commits more acts of violence than the villain because he's fighting against overwhelming odds to try to beat the bad guy. That's what it is. So,
but shouldn't the villain, their henchmen, count as part of the villainry? They're being violent towards.
Oh, by extension, you mean as proxy?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. You don't have to do a lot of violent things when you have a fucking army of people to do it for you.
Well, I mean, if each guy punches Daredevil once and he punches them twice to knock them out, Daredevil's always committing more individual acts of violence.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of that because that is stupid. And people that spent their time looking at that need to really reconsider why they went to college.
I feel like they're really trying to kind of low-key present some apologetics for a lot of the rhetoric and shit that's been going on lately. The incitement of violence and stuff when it comes to certain situations for political ideologies. You know, people who are like, we're the good guys, but it's okay if we commit violence because it's usually for a greater cause, which is why Thanos killed all those people. He's a good guy.
Jack Gunsky says Thanos is black. Jack, I think you need to check the tint on your monitor. He's purple.
Purple.
He's Grimace from like McDonald's.
Grimace.
Which, by the way, is problematic because he was played by a white man.
Oh, that's true. You can't play a purple guy if you're not actually purple. Let's see. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Over $74,000 donated to teacher who was arrested in caught on video beatdown of a student. Okay.
Oh, dude. I'm sorry. Keep going. I'll say this afterwards. Sorry.
Okay. People have given thousands of dollars to support a California high school music teacher who was arrested Friday after a classroom fistfight between he and a student was caught on video. Marston Riley, 64, was taken into custody on suspicion of child abuse and causing great bodily injury on a child after the brawl at Maywood Academy High School on Pine Avenue was reported to authorities around 1:30 p.m. Let's see. Try to find the video here. The student said the confrontation began after Riley asked the young man to leave the classroom because he wasn't wearing a proper uniform. The student allegedly refused, and cell phone video captured by another student shows him challenging the instructor, using profanity and repeatedly hurling a racial slur at Riley, who is black. The situation escalates further after the student throws a basketball at Riley, who is then seen pulling out his cell phone to call for backup. The student continues to insult and provoke Riley. The teacher holds his composure for a time, but then punches the boy in the face swiftly and without warning. The ensuing brawl lasts about 30 seconds, with the pair clambering across the room as Riley repeatedly delivers blows and others in the classroom shriek. Okay. The boy is only able to deliver about one punch. The video shows Riley continued to aggressively pursue the student even after other school officials responded to break up the fight. And a GoFundMe has raised $74,000 in support of the teacher's legal bills and such. So there you go. All right, Monkey, what do you got?
I'm looking through the ballot measures because I was checking ours. One of ours here in Michigan, guys, is recreational marijuana. As of right now, 59% voted yes.
Uh-oh.
So
are you going to start token up if they vote yes, Monkey?
I might.
Oh, boy.
Not token like I'm not going to try to get high. I will hit it, put it down until next time. We have a lot of Marsy's laws.
Marsy's laws?
Yeah, it's a law that requires letting victims know basically that they have a say in the judicial process.
Okay.
Basically letting them know that they can talk in the court. It seems to be passing everywhere that I see it. Oklahoma, North Carolina, and it's overwhelming, like 77% in Oklahoma. In North Carolina, 61%. North Carolina is also passing a resolution or a constitutional amendment requiring people to have photo ID if they vote in person.
Let's see. Florida voters approve Amendment 4 to restore felon voting rights.
Yes.
So if you were a felon of anything lesser than murder or child abuse or something, or
sexual offenses,
sexual offenses, then you can conceivably have your voting rights restored after you've served your time.
Yep, 63% have approved that so far. Almost 5 million votes to only 280,000.
I don't have a problem with that, honestly.
Well, I do, and here's why. If you're going to do that, why select out some crimes that still aren't okay? Why? Okay, okay, you murdered somebody, you paid your debt to society, but you don't get to vote anymore. But somebody who, say, completely ruined somebody's life financially, they can vote again. I understand.
Bernie Madoff gets his voting rights back, but a guy who killed a guy when he was like 18 or something over a drug debt or something never gets to vote again.
Indeed. I get it. It's optics. That's what it is. They went for, okay, the absolute worst crimes, murder and sexual assault. Those. But if you're going to make it so that people can vote again after they've paid their debt to society, then it should be everyone.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Then shouldn't this then be challenged in court by someone who has served his time, done all his,
yes.
By someone who killed somebody? Yeah, I think it should. Yeah, it should be challenged as well. I don't have a problem with the what's the word I'm looking for? The sentiment of it. I don't have a problem with it at all. But yeah, it shouldn't like what, bills of attainder or whatever. You can't siphon out some people over others. So yeah.
I'm curious how that would be done, because this is an amendment to their constitution.
Well, if there's any language in the Constitution about the law shall not discriminate, etc.
Well, we'll see. Because a lot of the gay marriage things were constitutional amendments in states.
Just to counteract my own self, there are laws that say, in some states you can get your firearms rights restored if you petition, if you haven't committed certain crimes. So if that's constitutional, this is conceivably also constitutional, because it's just one more right. And if they set boundaries on that based on the crimes committed, and it's okay for firearms restoration, then it would probably also pass muster with voter restoration.
You got a super chat.
Yep, thank you, Sanguine. Monkey, if weed is legalized, please tell me you will pop a Cheech and Chong movie the first time. Pop on a Cheech and Chong movie the first time.
Probably not. It wouldn't be the first time I've done it. So
Monkey, confession time.
I might have partaken when I was younger. Alabama has an amendment that I'm surprised hasn't caused more national headlines. An amendment to the Alabama Constitution authorizing the display of the 10 Commandments on state, public, and school grounds, prohibiting the spending of public funds to defend the constitutionality of this amendment, and providing for certain religious rights and liberties. A vote yes approves displaying the 10 Commandments on state property is winning right now 74%.
It's being called that DeSantis has defeated Gillum for Florida governorship.
I see with what was coming in.
One place calling it. I haven't seen it elsewhere, but that's one thing. Ocasio-Cortez is projected to win election for.
That was a given.
That was a given. Yeah, pretty much.
The only reason she was in the news is because she's a Bernie acolyte and
acolyte.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, I know what you're trying to say, but for the the listeners at home, just making sure.
They know me.
Maybe.
According to CNN, the Democrats only need 17 to pick up the House right now.
Oh my God, 17! That's down from 19. Oh my God!
They flipped 2 more. Let's see where they flipped these. One in Michigan. Let's see where they're showing us. We got Florida, Michigan, Maryland, a couple in Pennsylvania. So yeah, according to CNN, they've already picked up, what is that, 6 seats?
All right. Well, we'll take a break for a few minutes and talk about YouTube time, because it's YouTube time. And again, thank you, everyone, for the MSS news story. Thank you, Sanguine, again. Well, the firearms argument, though, is violent offenses is that there is a risk of worse if you arm them. Voting doesn't make a criminal more effective. No, I'm not arguing the specifics. I'm just saying that if the threshold for restoring a right, like the right to vote, the right to own a firearm, can be tempered by the crime committed, these two things are effectively, functionally the same things. So if you can withhold someone getting the ability to own a gun back because of crime X, and that's approved in some states and hasn't been, defeated by the Supreme Court or anything else, then conceivably a voting rights, which is just another right, could also be withheld based on specific crimes. And again, I'm just being sort of, I'm hypothetically here because I'm not a lawyer or legal expert, but I would just think that they're of equal weight.
Judge Des says now she can sign bills and have an inauguration. Talking about Cortez, because that's what she said.
I think somebody should stage an inauguration for her and invite her.
Yes.
She won't show up, but they should stage it and have and not do anything untoward. Just say, we're holding the inauguration for Ocasio-Cortez. We got a podium set up and everything. We invite her come down and have this filmed. And
what they should do is everybody should tweet at her how a bill becomes a law from Schoolhouse Rock.
There you go.
Somebody asked us about the Illinois Senate governor race.
Well, we're taking a break for a moment in order to do YouTube time because I want to get that out of the way, and then we can spend deep topic time going all over the place. So make a note. Satsu, what have you been up to?
I made some more merch, and that's kind of it. Other than some behind the scenes stuff to try to tweak and refine my Twitch channel and make sure that that's set up. By the way, I will be streaming on Twitch tonight playing Red Dead Redemption. So if you want to come and hang out with me and watch me play Red Dead while Monkey talks about some politics or looks at the numbers a bit more, then you could do that. Other than that, I made a free speech extremist shirt because I thought it was hilarious. And then I made a hoodie and a drawstring bag for the Lords of the Night and for the Lords of the Night logo. So because it's starting to become hoodie season, I figured you guys could check that out. And if you want a hoodie version of any of the other shirts on there, just let me know and I can make that for you upon request. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Nothing too major.
All right, Monkey, what have you been up to?
I have done nothing. I will be doing, as Satsu said, the stream after this, but otherwise, nothing.
Okay. I did started putting together and assembling my next video about calling people names. I'll just say it how it is, because calling people names is bad, like really bad, like dangerous, like totally worse than kicking a dog or something. Also, sunbeams. I won't give you any context for why I would say sunbeams in relation to calling people bad names, but trust me, somehow it all fits together. You just need some red string and a cork board. Other than that, nothing else. Did I mention I was on the Ghost Poo podcast yesterday? I forget if I mentioned that.
You did.
You mentioned it yesterday.
Okay, did I? Okay. I was thinking back, did I talk about that? Anyway, that's all I did. So do we have any internet fucketry, which can be election-related internet fucketry, because there's been plenty of that today.
I think I saw some.
Oh, thank you, Cryptic. Why do ghosts love elevators? Because they lift the spirits. Har har.
I refuse to laugh at that.
That was a good one. I don't care what you say.
Oh my god.
Let me see. Let me go back to my Twitter machine here, because there was some silliness. Well, someone, a commentator on Fox News, just used the phrase "orange man bad" on live TV.
Hilarious.
Tim Pool tweeted that out. A Fox News contributor just said "orange man bad." Memes in real life.
The only real fucketry I had, because the other person apparently deleted their tweet, is from Elvira.
What, you mean Mistress of the Night?
Fucking Elvira.
Mistress of the Night, Elvira?
Yes.
I seen that yesterday, I think.
What'd she say?
Yeah, this is actually from the 5th. I just saw it today. As a fan of Elvira, you may like her because she's spooky, funny, and sexy. But as my real fans know, she's also a strong. She's talking about herself in fucking third person.
Yeah.
A strong, resilient, empowered woman who stands up for herself and what she believes in. To that end, I feel compelled to write this message today. If you are a woman, or if you only have a woman, or if you have a woman or girl in your life who you care about, it is your obligation to vote for Democrats. I know I will get some typical angry responses from some. Stick to your acting, keep your nose out of politics. But first and foremost, I'm an American. You're an American, but you're a moron, so shut up.
Something today that PolitiFact posted. This was the headline on their tweet. And again, PolitiFact posted this. PolitiFact is not biased. Here's why. and I responded, in other news, North Korea calls itself the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Yeah, no shit.
Thus it is. Yeah. Okay, PolitiFact. Yeah, I'm glad you're investigating yourselves. And then the Washington Post had an analysis piece, which I'm not going to read, but the headline is analysis: voting. Here's how long people like you have had that right. And I'm like, analysis, a 15-second search of U.S. voting rights on Wikipedia equals analysis. Got it. And also the New York Times put out a story today that said there are no federal laws regarding the taking of selfies at polling stations, but 18 states say it is not allowed. And for 6 others, the rules are ambiguous. And who gives a shit?
Well, that one, it's taking photos, really, not just selfies, is where those laws comes in. It's
privacy.
To keep from intimidating people.
Intimidating people, the privacy of voting. Yeah, sure, I can understand that. But at the same time, it's kind of like,
fuck it, you're taking a selfie. Who cares?
It's
not like, I've never understood those laws, especially because you don't know who they're voting for unless they're, even if somebody came to the polls dressed in nothing but MAGA shit, they could go in there and still vote for whoever runs against Trump in 2020.
Yeah. And last one I'll have here is another headline from Washington Post. Perspective: why feminists won't celebrate every woman's win today. And I said, because acknowledging anything that would indicate an erosion of their oppression narrative means having to find something productive to do with their lives. And that's all I had.
We fight for all women.
Uh-oh, what you got, Monkey?
CNN has it down to only 15 seats needed for the House.
Oh my God, it's been gone from 19 to 17 to 15, guys. We're going down by 2s. 2. Historic first, Colorado Democrat Jared Polis will be the first openly gay man elected governor in the U.S., CNN projects. So Colorado governor they're projecting at least, will be Jared Polis. And him being gay is inconsequential. But hey, there you go. You can check that off the list, I guess, if that was a big thing in your life. Breaking 2012 Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney will win Utah Senate seat, CNN projects.
I didn't know he was running.
I didn't know he was running either, but there you go. He's getting ready for 2020, guys.
As I was saying, somebody asked about the governor election in Illinois. CNN has called that for the Democrat, so that's a flip. They also it looks like Kansas is going to flip for your, and remember, this is governor, not House or Senate, guys, but so those states will be a little bit different.
Let's see. Bob Menendez keeps his Senate seat in New Jersey, even though he's under an ethics probe.
Not surprising. Again, most of the Senate seats, guys, are going to stay where they were.
Yeah. Senate's probably not going to move much. It's really just the House that's up for grabs. And, all things being equal, the Democrats will probably get it back by a few seats. So,
See, I've been saying this all along. If they get it, it's going to be really close. 538 last I saw, the majority, what was it? 80% is what they were saying that they would get, that the Democrats would get between the 23 they needed, and they downgraded it to 58 from 60, where it had been 2 days earlier. There's no way they're picking up 60 seats.
No.
Just there's not.
They may indeed get the majority, but it'll be, well, the majority will be whether it's 1 or 20. It's
They're going to have such a tight majority that they may have problems filling some of the committee leaderships. So
here's a question, Monkey. Okay, let's for the sake of argument, because it's likely if the Democrats take the House. Do they have once everyone has been sworn in January or whatever? Do they have does the Democrats in the House or the Democrats at large have any choice but to immediately make a big splash with something like impeachment?
They're not going to impeach. Nancy Pelosi will get the speakership, and she's already said this is not on the table.
Okay, so if they don't impeach, if they don't make moves to do so, what do they do? What exactly is their first retaliatory move against Trump with their newfound power? What do you think that's going to be? So if we take impeachment off the table, what do they do next?
They'll just start making a big deal about bills and stuff they want to pass. They'll make a big deal about budget fights, and it'll be the same thing we saw under Obama, just with the parties flipped. They just
sorry. Zero the Hero says, "Let Satsu talk." Satsu says, "I have nothing to say."
Yeah, we're talking politics, and he's talked about this before. I mean, he's even said the only reason he cares is because we talk about it, and that helps him learn what we're even talking about.
Yeah, it's interesting to listen in on what's going on. But I have nothing to add, at least nothing useful.
Toasted Network says, according to the polls, John James is leading. He's not leading in what's coming through so far. He may. CNN has changed it from flat blue to a light blue. But with, what is it? 48% in, he's losing 99. Stamina has 998,000 votes. He has 865. Oh, they just changed it to she has 1 million. He has 872. So I don't know what Fox is looking at, but the CNN one is not doing it, or is not putting him that close.
Going back real quick, I guess my question is, given the rhetoric, given the lack of civility and everything else, and maybe not the old guard, but do the younger Democrats have any choice but to come out like rabid dogs in order to please their base after all this?
CNN has it 11 now, guys. Yeah, and they can make all the waves they want, but that's not how it works. They can get up there and say, "Hey, we need to do this," and the incumbents, the old guard, will be like, "Shut up, just shut up. This doesn't help us."
Right.
So what they'll go out there, maybe, and they'll bark a lot, but there's going to be no bite to it.
Right, but doesn't that? And I agree with you. That's what is going to happen. The old guard versus the young guns, so to speak. But that'll just, I think, show a divided Democratic Party. And so going into 2020, you're going to have mixed messages all over the place. And I only think that goes to help Trump in his bid for re-election.
Oh yeah, well,
absolutely.
The identity politics are gonna fragment them too much, because even if they do share some of the same ideals, if you're the wrong sex or color, you're going to be lumped together with the people who they are claiming to be the enemy, and there's going to be a disconnect no matter what. As long as they hold on to identity politics as the foundation of what their arguments are on, then I don't think they're ever going to be unified. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, because really the only thing that I'm curious to see is as soon as people are as soon as the election's over with, because all the rhetoric begins, tomorrow or Thursday or whatever. Thank you, Cryptic. Can't wait for Cortez to be inaugurated. Yes, I really think I would love it. I would love it if Steven Crowder set up an inauguration stage for her.
Oh God, that would be awesome.
If you set up an inauguration stage for her, invite her down to be inaugurated, that'd be great. Anyway, what I was going to say. As soon as the results are all in, and like I say, hypothetically, the House is taken by the Democrats, to see what they start saying, what kind of messages, what kind of intentions they start putting out there, and then what is the response from the more conservative side of the Democratic Party, the old guard, the veterans, so to speak, because really I think that's going to set the tone as to what's going to be debated on the primary stage 2 years from now.
Well, if Trump wins 2 years from now, and the Democrats only pick up, let's say they win this and pick up, say, 10 extra seats. They have a 10-seat majority in the House.
Sure.
That is not enough to keep them from losing it again in the presidential election, just historically. Right. They would get the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah.
And with them going to strict identity politics, they are just going to light a fire under the base, because the Republicans will be able to come out and say, see, we told you this is what they were going to do. They don't care about policy. They really don't care about people. All they care is about bad Trump, that bad orange man. And they will be able to play that up all the way through. People pay way more attention to the presidential than they do this. And again, historically, the president tends to pick up some in the presidential election. So I think the old guard will take these kids into a room and be like, look, I know you're angry. I know you told your constituents what you would do, but we need to play this smart. And I don't think they will be smart enough to do it. I think they're going to go bombastic and get shit kicked for it.
Yeah, the House of Cards scenario is, like Monkey say, take everybody in a room and say, okay, guys, if we do not show a unified front in the next 2 years, we are going to lose to Donald Trump.
Yep.
That is the reality of the situation. All of your firebrandedness, all of your gusto, it means nothing, because all that's going to do is divide the message, divide our base, divide the electorate on our side. And by the time we get to the debate stage, you're going to have everybody up on that stage arguing against each other, trying to be the big hero over whatever point you guys decided to make the soup du jour with all of the millennials out there over the next 2 years. And it's going to screw us.
Yeah. The only way I think they'll get that to work is if they get figureheads that are, people of color. They manage to convince these these people who are kind of calling the shots and leading the charge to be like, look, you got to fucking get your people to be on board with this, because as long as it's rational white people using their white privilege to tell everybody to be nice, they're not going to buy that shit.
Excuse me.
So here, what the hell is that? There's some truck outside braking with really bad brakes, and it sounded like there was an alarm going off. Now here's the other thing that I'm thinking of. So who are our big front runners, setting aside Hillary, but who are our front runners in the Democratic Party for running for president? We got Senator Warren, Booker, and
Harris.
That's a Kamala Harris. I was going to say Maxine Waters for some reason. I was like, no, not Maxine Waters.
There's Hillary and Biden are the question marks, but yeah, if those two do or don't, I don't think they're going to win anyway. But yeah,
okay. Well, let's say
Harris, Warren.
Yeah, let's say the three active politicians are our main runners. Is there a risk that, let's say that happens, Nancy Pelosi takes everybody into a room, says everybody's got to be on the same page. But Booker, Harris, and Warren, of course, have their own agendas. They are, it's like, well, everybody's got to be on the same page, but I have to be a standout. So even if they do that, and even if the young bloods, let's say, do tramp down their passions, can the party avoid fracturing?
No. The party's going to fracture anyway. They're set up for a horrible fracture. Mm-hmm. And you can blame Bernie Sanders for it, guys, if you're a Democrat. You have and it's weird because Bernie Sanders is not the confrontational jackass that his followers are.
Yeah.
But he has inspired some very, what's the word I want to use?
Zealous.
Zealous is a good word. Very zealous people that are following him. And so, what we're going to see coming up is the old guard. the people who know how politics works, against these young kids who want to take, who actually want to go out there and say we're socialists, while the Democratic Party has been saying for fucking 60, 70 years now, we're not socialists, we're not communists, we promise.
Yeah. They're not going to be able to keep but being realistic, even if Nancy Pelosi has a backroom meeting, more likely than not, the young bloods or whatever are not going to keep quiet because they were voted to and they got to keep their profiles high. And then Booker, Harris, and Warren are going to have to come out individually and say or try to position themselves as the party unifiers in some fashion. So they're going to have to try to court both the energy. They cannot deny the energy that put Ocasio-Cortez into office. You know, even if it's madness, they can't deny the Bernie vote.
They can in most of the country.
Most of the country, yeah, but the optics and social media and everything else is going to blow it up. And they don't want to look like they're carrying over the nonsense of the 2016 election. They're going to try to play peacemaker all around. But they'll be trying to be Harris, Booker, and Warren are going to try to play peacemaker against one another to unify the party.
Yeah,
which is going to be hilarious.
I don't think you'll see that. And don't forget Michael Avenatti, guys.
Oh God, you know the dark horse, Michael Avenatti, man, he's gonna be the Ross Perot of this session. I tell you what, he's gonna be buying airtime, and he's gonna have like charts and a pointer. And oh, thank you, Cryptic. F this. I'm going to watch Bob Ross on Twitch.
There you go.
Hey, happy little trees will make us all better people.
I don't think. I think they're going to have a fight for the party, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to play the unifier role. Mm-hmm. I think what they're going to do is they're all going to try to hate Trump the most.
Yes.
And I kind of think that helps them out right now, because the party then doesn't have to have their internal fight, which is that fight is coming, guys. The socialists versus the, just I'm a Democrat. That fight is coming. I think what'll probably end up happening, I think there's going to be somebody. I don't think Avenatti will do it. I don't think Harris. We may have a dark horse who comes up. Somebody's going to split the Democrat vote.
Dwayne Johnson.
No, he would unify them. He's a true unifier.
I wonder what's going to happen when the talk of actual policy needs to come up, because that's almost non-existent on the Democratic front to a certain degree.
In my mind, the smartest thing that Booker, Harris, and Warren could do is sit down and have a gentleman's agreement, no sexism intended, but you know what I mean, and sit down and say, okay, let us all three agree that we're not going to play who can hate Trump more, that we have to focus on policy and differences in ideas. No, I know.
I'm laughing at Jack in chat. Sorry, bad comic review in the chat. Dark horse, you mean a horse of color, Ranting Monkey? Yes, a horse of color. Sorry, go ahead.
And not Dark Horse Comics, which is a completely different thing. If they now, setting aside all the other internal politics of the Democratic Party, if they want to play it smart, they'd have to agree collectively not to try to be who can be the best, the biggest Trump hater. At least agree. They're going to compete against each other on everything else. But if they don't agree to that, they're giving in, or they're actually just giving ammunition to Trump to take them on directly. And that would be the worst idea. Now, do I think something like that could happen? I think that between the three of them, one or two of them could convince the third one on cooler.
Oh, was that Scribe?
Yeah, that was Scribe.
Oh. While we wait for him to come back, to his point, I don't think that'll happen, though. Even if they made the gentleman's agreement, what's going to happen is somebody's going to be behind. Somebody's going to be behind. Oh, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh, was I roboting?
You were gone, man.
Oh, of course I was. Well, never mind.
You said the last thing we heard was convince the two of them or something, and then after that, you were just like,
great, wonderful. Well, I was saying that maybe two of them could convince the third to go along with not being the biggest Trump hater, and that we have to focus on the issues. But inevitably, I don't think it could hold because they would eventually have to throw some red meat to the base in order to get the hype up and show that they stand out and have some balls to stand up to Trump. And
well, go ahead.
I was going to say, lastly, I was going to say, I think the first person to break would be Booker.
You know what I think? I think that it doesn't matter what they do or what their strategy is to do, because I don't think that the media is going to allow the narrative to go that way. So even if all the politicians decided we are all going to come together and do all this stuff, whatever, the media still has control over the narrative that's being pushed out effectively. So if they still want to shit throw, they're not going to give a fuck what the politicians want. They're still going to put out whatever stories they want to.
Well, the problem is, even if this is what I was saying before, right? Reg, you came back, Scribbles.
Okay.
Even if they sat down and made this gentleman's agreement and they all said, you know what, this makes sense. What's going to happen is one of them is going to be behind in the polls, and the way you get ahead in the polls is attention.
Yep.
And so what they're going to have to do is go fuck Donald Trump to rally their base and to rally their supporters and try to get that angry vote. And it'll all fall apart because that's what you have to do right now. And this is in addition to the fact that they have to be campaigning against each other at the same time. So you're absolutely right. What they should do is sit down and go, look, we are going to make this about policy.
Yep.
But that is not going to happen. Even if it did happen, it would fall apart immediately.
Yeah, it would not last. Jean-Pierre says, Scribe Light, who won your state? Smith and Jones.
That was a nice try, Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, Smith and I don't know their first names, just that it was Smith and Jones. They won. They won everything. All the judgeships, governor and janitor.
It is a whole state of Smith and Joneses.
Yep, the state of Smith.
Let's see. According to CNN, looking back at my sorry guys, I have a little bit of interest in this one. Stabenow is still ahead, 53% to 44%, with 57% reporting in. From what I saw, there are a lot of red counties that haven't reported in, but it is hard to get over Wayne County, which is where Detroit is, guys. It just is. There are 3 counties in the state that are kind of big. You have Kent, you have Ingram, and then Wayne, and 2 of those are trending blue. So yeah, I don't see it happening.
Let's see.
I hope so, but.
Texas, we got 81% reporting in. Cruz is at 3,000,001, and O'Rourke is at 2,000,009. And the only counties remaining to report in Texas are all historically leaning red. Sorry, no, there's 2 blue counties, and the rest are red. Now the populations of those 2 are, different, but it looks, and again, this is just looking. It looks like Cruz might just squeak by. We'll see.
Cruz is going to win this, and when all is said and done, I still say it's at least 5 points he wins by.
Yeah,
I said 10 earlier today, I think it was, or yesterday, just to be a jackass to a 3-sided coin. But
so if somebody knows, because right now CNN, now one other source called the governor's race in Florida already, but CNN still hasn't called it with 99% in. DeSantis is at 4 million, and Gilham's at 3.9 million. I'm curious, is there a rule in Florida, like if the difference is less than X percentage or whatever, they do a recount? I don't know what the rules are in Florida.
I think so, but I'm not sure. By the way, in that same state, Scott is ahead of Nelson in the Senate race by, what is that, 50,000-ish? With 99% reporting in. Guys, a lot of you have mentioned in the chat different places we could go to look and get different polls and stuff. I am okay using CNN for one reason, and that's so nobody can go, you guys went to a site that says what you like. We give CNN a lot of shit around here, so. Yeah,
we're not going to Fox, we're not going to MSNBC, or I mean, well, I don't like Fox that much. I don't like MSNBC that much, so it wouldn't matter to me. But just CNN is kind of like the 4th member of our cast on any particular night, just because I'm lazy, and I go to CNN and find most of the stories to talk about at the top of the night. So that's why.
Adam said they called Cruz. Who? Well, CNN still hasn't. But they do have the Senate right now, 49 Republicans. They only need one more to have control of the House because the vice president breaks ties.
Yeah.
One more to control the Senate because the vice president breaks ties.
Let's see. Real-time forecast from 538 says the Democrats will have up 32 seats in the House. Really?
Random says Monkey couldn't go to MSNBC because they are occupying the handicap spot.
Oh,
that's fucking hilarious.
Well, they were. Stay out of handicap spots. I don't even use them, and I'm a cripple, you fucktards.
Let's see. Yeah, Colorado. Okay. The first two Muslim women have been elected to Congress. Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. Michigan and Minnesota, respectively.
I just have trouble. Never mind. Oh, yeah, we have another Senate flip for the Republicans.
Okay, which one's
with only 37% in North Dakota? They're calling it for Kramer over. Was it Heitkamp?
37%.
Yeah, I'm guessing because of the breakdown of the state so far.
Yeah.
Heitkamp got quite a bit of news coverage over the Kavanaugh thing. So how'd that work out for you, sweetie?
I'm looking forward to all these people that are being pointed out for their outward characteristics to continue doing the exact same thing that the previous person was doing.
Right.
I think that's going to be.
Did you get that super chat there?
No, thank you, Terry Diamantis. What if Chris Cillizza was the editor on the poll results page and the results you're looking at are actually typos? Well, it wouldn't. I wouldn't put it past him. But for some reason, I don't think even CNN is dumb enough to put Chris Cillizza at the head of reporting poll results, given his performance in the 2016 election. Just saying. I can actually retweet out a screenshot of his predictions.
I think they're going to wait and call Florida to tomorrow because they're already at 99%. It is close, but CNN does have Ted Cruz up by 150,000 votes right now with 82% in.
Ever since Bush v. Gore, a lot of the media outlets have been very cagey about calling Florida too early, given the insanity. They just want to make sure they're not going to be the one calling it one way and then being called out on being an idiot the next day when things switch the other direction or something. So,
going back to the.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to say, going back to the exit polls real quick. This one is interesting. Party ID: 96% of Democrats voted Democratically. 4% of them voted Republican. 93% of Republicans voted Republican. 6% of them voted Democrat. And the important one: 54% of independents voted Republican. No, sorry, Democrat. So they're winning the independent one, which is where everybody really wants their vote.
Okay, is that Monkey or is that me?
That was Monkey
Probably.
a little bit there.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, it's basically the bottom of the hour. So, guys, chat. It's your time. It's your time to talk, or us to talk on your behalf. If you have questions, comments, conspiracy theories, complaints, if you have news from the fronts of your battleground state or otherwise, or if you have questions for us, please put plenty of question marks afterwards. And we'll continue to, mete out election news as it happens. But I'll leave that to Monkey, and I'll pay attention to the chat for the time being.
Well, on that note, CNN has officially called it the Senate will remain Republican.
Okay. Not a big surprise there.
No.
It's the only thing really at question is the House, but more likely than not, it'll probably just eke by Democratic, but we'll see. Let's see. Random American says, what stat should I move to next? Charisma. Zero the Hero 909. Do you think MSM will cry Russian interference? If the Democrats take the House, doubtful.
That would be hilarious.
That would be funny, though. I mean, maybe in some individual states. I know in Georgia they were talking about some problems with some registration databases and such. I don't know if that actually affects the voting process. But I know that Facebook has taken down several dozen accounts or something that have supposedly been putting out false information in relation to the election. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past anybody to make any kind of claim about the Russians, but we'll see. Let's see. Jean-Pierre asked, Monkey, did John James win Michigan?
It's too early to call.
Let's see. Hypnagogic Monk says Styx is down to 25,000 views. I don't know what that means.
Styx Hexenhammer, I'm guessing.
Down to 25,000 views? Well, poor him? I don't know. Ebony Williams, how well does radiation treatment work compared to chemo? I hope never to find out myself.
My mom had radiation rather than chemo, and yeah, let's say I hope to never find out myself.
Jenna P says, I have something to bitch about. Elizabeth Warren was elected again. Well, that was
a given.
Not unexpected at all, but yeah.
Yeah, they called that with like 2% of the vote in.
Yeah, that was pretty much. What else did we have?
And she is winning handedly, like by double.
Nothing for you here says, once we can bypass the information lag due to our mechanical limitations physically, our advancement as a species will become incomprehensible. Thoughts?
Not necessarily. I get what you're going for there. The sharing of information immediately, and I think it'll cause some advancements. I also think it'll cause a lot of horrors.
Horrors? I love horrors.
You an asshole.
Chatmort says, my mom did both. If you can, go hard and do both, referring to chemo and radiation. So, well, sympathies to your mom, Chat. Mort. Let's see. Bad Comedy says, Warren won because she traded land for beads and votes.
Oh, that ain't right.
Oh. Let's see. Zero Hero says Cruz won Texas. What's CNN saying, Monkey?
CNN has called it for Cruz.
Hey, there you go. So Beto and his 60-some-odd $million war chest meant nothing. But yet, even though he lost, even though he lost, he was still victorious, says Reuters for some reason.
He's still a winner, y'all.
He's still a winner, guys, because he's being groomed for 2020. You just wait. Vote Beto. President Beto.
Yeah, Beto, if we hear from him again, it'll be in 2020 as a representative. He ain't going to challenge Cruz again.
Let's see.
Well, he can't in 2020, but...
Ebony Williams says, which is the bigger deal, winning the Senate or winning the House? You mean as an individual or like as a party?
The Senate pays better.
Yeah, that's true.
For the parties, the House, typically, the Senate, if you're going to be talking about, it depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The House controls the purse strings, so that is incredibly important. The Senate controls nominations. Mm-hmm. So like with Kavanaugh. So if Ruth Bader Ginsburg realizes she's dead and Trump gets to nominate another Supreme Court nominee justice, then yeah, that's important to them to have. So
yeah, but only then if you're on the Senate Judiciary Committee would you have the power to vote them in or whatever. So Chatmort says she's been in remission for like 12 years now. Good.
Cool.
Excellent.
Good for her.
Glad to hear.
Glad to hear.
Let's see. Jean-Pierre says, who won Arizona? I don't know.
Arizona in the Senate right now, it's pretty even. CNN has it leaning Republican with McSally over, is that Sinema?
Kristen Sinema, yeah.
It's 49.3 to 48.4, but there's only 55% reporting in. And in the House, I don't know. It's a lot harder to call it state by state. But CNN does tell us, sorry, guys, only 9 more seats for the Democrats for them to hold or to take over the House.
Uh-oh, we have a first. The real Peter says, thank you. You answered my question through someone else's question. What, we answered your question? You didn't have to repeat it? Oh, my God.
Well, Peter, I'm going to ask you to ask your question again anyway. By the way, we do have a Republican flip in the House.
Uh-oh.
They took Pennsylvania House 14. There was no incumbent there. I'm guessing this is because of how they did all their redistricting shit. But yeah, a Republican won there.
Genevieve says, I'm running in 2020. Prospero, will you be my running mate? Uh-oh. Thank you, Gregory Hurst. My senators are 1,000 to Cherokee. Am I a victim now? My sins? My sins.
Senators, I'm guessing.
I assume senators, unless that was some kind of autocorrect kind of thing. Sure. I mean, at any point in your bloodline, if you have any minority, I guess, in your heritage, then you can attempt to claim it. I mean, Elizabeth Warren is a role model to us all. Let's see.
Satsu, how you doing over there, bud?
Hey, Satsu.
I'm good. Chillaxing.
Nice calm stream for you.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, he's playing Red Dead right now.
No, but I am setting up to play Red Dead right now.
Real
Peter says, I asked what is the difference between the House and the Senate. You answered by answering Ebony's question. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah. So what? Especially what matters about winning them? Yeah.
Yeah. Puttock says, has anyone seen some hilarious write-in ballots? Well, I know in all the instances where someone was running unopposed on my ballot, I just wrote in my dad's name on the other side and voted for that. So why not?
Voted for myself for governor.
There you go.
Man, we're gonna have it.
Original Shroom says Florida recount law if within 0.05% automatic recount. Okay, so Florida, I don't think is. I think it's beyond that, if only just right now, at least. The governorship.
We're gonna have a goddamn Republican governor.
Monkey, what's the Florida
Democrat.
governorship? What's the Florida governorship looking at right now?
Florida governorship, DeSantis is up 49.9 to 48.9. He's got full 1% lead.
Okay.
With 99% in. And in the Senate, and they still haven't called that. It's 49. It's Scott 50.9 to Nelson's 49.1. So neither one of these looks like they're recount worthy automatically.
Jessica Valenti has tweeted this out.
Oh,
if Beto wins, there are going to be a lot of babies born 9 months from today. Okay. Well, Jessica, no worries. All those babies will not be born now.
What kind of shit is that?
I have no idea. Gregory Hurst says, Monkey, you see how feminists are pissed that you can kill a suffragette in Red Dead?
Are they? I haven't.
Oh, yeah. No, there's this video of this guy. He walks up to some lady on the street, and she's calling out for women to have the right to vote. He hogties her, picks her up, takes her on a horse all the way to some creepy cave somewhere, and then drops her down a bottomless pit. And then he confronts some guy who's in the depths of these caves who thinks that he's the devil. It's a very interesting scene.
What's really funny about that, I always think that's hilarious. Just like when Anita Sarkeesian was playing Grand Theft Auto, all the stuff you can do. There's like a million things you can do, and she's like, you can also pick up prostitutes. Therefore, this game is a prostitute simulator. Also,
you kill them and take their money back.
Yeah, you can also kill everybody else. But when you run over a group of people, there are women in the audience, which means, or in that crowd, which means that this game is made and designed for you to run over women with cars.
Yes.
Just like, she showed it running over a crowd of people, and it was like 5 dudes and 2 chicks. And she's like, yes, this game was basically meant for you to assault and hurt women. Disregard the 5 men that were in that group.
The lights here just flickered.
Silly ass.
So I don't know if that means my power is fluctuating, but if I suddenly disappear, it may be because of that. So I don't know.
With that, when I started Red Dead, the opening cinematic comes on, right? And the first thing that pops in my mind is, didn't they say there's no Negroes in there? And there's a black man on my screen. I'm like, literally in the first like 2 minutes of this, there's a black guy.
On the Young Turks, that stupid bitch was talking about where the black people at?
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're all through the game. But once again, like I said, she didn't play it. And then when she got corrected about it, because they was like, there are black people in the game. Not only that, they actually talk heavily about the struggles that black people face in this game. And she was like, well, they must not have put them in the ads because they knew that the white people wouldn't want to play with them. And I'm just like, sit down, bitch.
Oh, someone just tweeted out, Beto no Rourke. Wah, wah.
Yeah, I just tweeted out the only gloating I will do about this, because I don't really care about who wins what, except for in my own state. The only gloating I'll do is Beto supporters, you couldn't really thought he had a chance. I mean, come on. If you pay attention to politics, there was no fucking way Beto was going to win.
Jean-Pierre says, if Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House, will she straight up call for impeachment? No.
Nope.
Nope.
She's already said she won't.
There'll be some who will grumble about talking about it or suggesting it, but it'll get no traction and won't go anywhere.
There's no reason for them to impeach, because the Senate is with the Republicans, and the Senate, in order to remove a president, you have to have the Senate vote them out, and that won't happen.
Yeah. And I mean, and if they tried just for window dressing to shout impeachment right away, they'd be playing a card way too early. Because if something comes about or Trump does something in the next 2 years that might actually justify it, they'll only be undercutting their argument for the future if they go whole hog now. So
they'd be killing Superman, basically.
Yeah.
Prospero tells us you need grounds for impeachment. Yeah, they think they have it, though. Yeah. And if they control the House, they could do grounds for impeachment for, let's say, tax issues.
Yeah.
Tax evasion, they don't have to prove it.
No.
They just have to vote that they think he did it, and then boop, you're impeached.
And then the Senate says no, and it's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no reason to try the impeachment. It is a loser, and
it'll make them look like fools, and it'll go nowhere, and it'll just be and everybody who stood up and says impeach the president, and then it goes nowhere. Every opponent of every Democrat for the House in the next cycle will just point to that and say, look how weak they were.
Yep.
Do that and fail miserably.
Couldn't even get it taken. They couldn't even do it.
Yeah. Let's see.
Keeping an eye on the flips here. Nothing has changed.
The Kentucky clerk who refused to sign same-sex marriage certificates loses re-election bid.
I'm shocked.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's see. Duck Dog, Scribe Light, his replacement would be Mike Pence. Is that really a better president? I don't know. Maybe
they have kept Pence really quiet.
Yeah. He's actually being a vice president, not doing anything except breaking ties in the House.
Yeah, the only thing, he came out the other day and said that he thinks the Republicans will keep the House, and that's the only thing I've heard of him since the election.
Yeah. Let's see. Adam Mangold says, can they keep trying to impeach him? Well, I don't know what the rules are on how many times you can try to impeach a president, but every time that they do it, they'll just be cutting off their own feet. So,
well, here's the thing: they can impeach him. They can't remove him. Is the problem? And they can keep trying as many times as they want. There's no rule on that.
Yeah. They'll just do completely ineffectual declarations that he's a horrible person. Although through official channels, through impeachment, whereas they've been doing nothing but calling him a horrible person since he was put his name into the bid. So it means nothing at this point. It would take something undeniably criminal to actually get any traction anywhere outside of the House to do impeachment here until Trump's out of office. So
if you look at the Bashlack,
Bashlack. That should be a band name.
It should be.
Metal band, Bashlack.
The backlash against Nixon. And Nixon really didn't do that much wrong. His part in the whole Watergate thing was cover up. The backlash against that gave us Jimmy Carter, who was a horribly weak presidential candidate. Not talking about how nobody knew how he'd be president at the time. But he wasn't a great candidate. But the country's like, fuck those Republicans. So the Republicans are in the Senate are not going to do that to their party. They're not, unless there is a reason to. Oh, by the way, guys, just updated. CNN calls 2 more House seats for the Democrats as flips. So we're down to 7 to flip the House, according to CNN.
Harvest Marva says, did you discuss what Fox News did tonight that they're getting a lot of flack for, apparently? I
didn't see.
Don't know. You'll have to tell us. I don't know. You're talking about like the Sean Hannity thing where he showed up at a Trump rally, but he said he would never do that again or something?
Let's see. Fox News. Why are they in the news? Fox rebukes. What is this?
Let's see.
Fox rebukes Sean Hannity and Janine Pirio's participation in Trump rally. Yeah, it's about him going to a Trump rally.
Yeah, he like previously either he said or Fox said that he would no longer be appearing at Trump rallies for the sake of like, the appearance of impropriety or something, but then he did it anyway. So,
but he's okay. I don't have a problem with him going to a Trump rally any more than I have a problem with Rachel Maddow going to a Warren rally.
Yeah,
these aren't news people; these are commentators.
Yeah. Now there are some people who, or there are some news people who have in their contracts that they're not allowed to make public declarations of political affiliation and things like that. So if you do that and you break your contract, then sure. But so far as I know, if Sean Hannity had that in his contract, he would have been out the door already because of the past things that he's done. So
yeah, we know which way he leans.
Yeah, there's not really a question.
Lucifer in chat asked, "What's the difference between impeachment and removal?" Impeachment is the
Censure.
House of Rep. Yeah, basically, it's a censure, and that moves it on to the Senate, where they vote on whether or not to remove the president.
Mm-hmm.
The House, it's basically the House is like an indictment, and then the Senate is like the actual trial. So the House looks at something and goes, "Okay, we think there's enough here for charges," and they move it on to the Senate, and then the Senate has to vote to remove the president if they think it was.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Grand jury and actual trial.
Yeah.
Harlow Marvis says, no, they called the Democrats for the House before voting was in. Oh, well,
they've been doing that for months.
Yeah, everybody and their brother's been predicting the Democrats would take the House. So,
yeah, we're going by the actual numbers right now when we say that. CNN right now is calling 7 more needed for them to take control. It's actually right now 140 to 140.
Celtic Mandalore says, should someone be legally allowed to opt out of society? Well, of course, they're called Red Dead Redemption 2 players.
All jokes aside, no.
Opt out of society. I don't know what that means exactly. Like you don't have to pay taxes. You don't need to be a sovereign citizen kind of thing.
Yeah, you move up into the woods and go off grid.
You can. I mean, you can do that. There's no law that says you have to live in a house or use electricity or vote or anything else. You're still bound by the laws of the country and the jurisdiction that you're in, regardless of whether or not you want to live away from people. So you can be a hermit, that's fine, but you're not completely separated from society unless you never interact with another person again, I guess. So, yeah. Let's see. Okie Native says they still need actual crime and evidence first. Not necessarily. Not for impeachment. The House can call high crimes and misdemeanors is never specified beyond that phrase in the Constitution. So
we saw him jaywalk.
Yeah, whatever that means and however that is interpreted by the House to then send the recommendation off to the Senate is up to the House. So there doesn't have to be evidence. There doesn't have to be an actual criminal act undertaken, though. In general terms, high crimes and misdemeanors is at least a rhetorical threshold that something Joe Normal would take as serious would have to go up there. But no, the House can call anything they want technically a high crime and misdemeanor insofar as the office of the president, and that's all they would need. So. Stacey Gardner says, Scribe, I heard the Democrats have kicked the Clintons to the curb. I know that there's some who have said they wouldn't campaign with Bill, but I think that's a very small number. Other than that, I don't think anybody has the chops or the influence to just completely outright deny them. Because even at this point, they still have a lot of pull with a lot of people. And, the fact that anybody's talking seriously about Hillary running again, and some people are actually pushing for that possibility, yeah, no, they're not out of the game yet entirely.
Hillary won the popular vote. That's just fact.
Yes, that's a fact.
Trump supporters might not want to hear that, but she was the more popular candidate, and especially in places like California and New York, some parts of Florida, yeah, you're going to see Hillary around for a while.
Let's see. Joseph Dunphy says, who is talking about impeaching Trump now? Everybody since he took office. I don't know.
A lot of people running for the House that are winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to do it, or if they do, they're going to look like idiots. But
yeah,
you know, there are people talking about it. Dark Allow says, enjoy the rest of the stream. Bye.
See you, Dark.
Let's see. Joel McLaughlin says, yeah, but impeachment without cause, well, that's just not going to happen. Yeah, but yeah, again, normal level-headed people, the cause would have to be something that your average American would say that is a bad thing to do for anybody, you know. Because honestly, I think what happened to Bill Clinton has set the bar for impeachment even higher.
Yes.
Because nobody takes seriously now, looking backwards, the idea that because he said something, either if you believe he got impeached because of the affair, which he didn't, but even if you believe that, or you know that he got impeached for perjury, which was the in the course of the investigation, nothing about the investigation actually brought him up for impeachment. Him telling a lie during questioning is what got him up for impeachment.
Yep.
Either one you believe, the threshold is so much higher now for what actually will convince anybody that you're being serious in trying to impeach a president after Clinton. And that's it's an interesting mechanism of things that the Clinton has actually made it tougher for presidents to be impeached, I think. That's not to say that some idiot couldn't go ahead and try to do it anyway, but I'm just saying.
I would agree with you on that, because so many of us watch this, and I'm kind of a rule of law guy, but I do not think Clinton ever should have been asked the question that got him impeached.
Mm-hmm.
Because for those of you who don't know, he was questioned about his affair with Monica Lewinsky, which wasn't a fucking crime.
Nope.
There was no crime there. There was no reason for them to be asking about that, and he lied about it. So that technically perjury. And for a lot of us, it's like, this should never happen again. I mean, it's one of the reasons we've argued so much against the special counsel law here on this show, because they have such broad power that a man that was being investigated for what a law firm did 20 years before, or however long it was, ended up getting impeached because he got his dick sucked.
Yeah, he lied about getting his dick sucked.
Yeah.
Pyrus Creed says, Monkey, any guests planned for your follow-up stream?
The only one that I have planned at the moment is Three-Sided Coin. A lot of the people who usually join me I expect will be over on the Minions of the Zoo stream, which, by the way, you can watch that instead of me if you want, and watch me in later. What's the word for that? Later. Watch me later. But there also be sending people over to go say hi to Satsu in various fun ways, because all things considered, I think you should watch Satsu instead of me. I'll be funny. I'll be saying horrific things about people that you may or may not know. Where Satsu is going to be playing Red Dead 2, which is fucking awesome.
I agree.
Let's see. Satsu, did you download the 76 patch?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, you should
say. Don't even ask me, because
I know
that would take me months.
Yeah, there's one more beta period on the 8th, I think it is. So Thursday, I believe, and it goes for a good chunk of the day. So it's a 29 gigabyte patch, which just amazes me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a patch. It's practically a whole other game.
Real quick, Original Shroom says Monica was an intern. Clinton was her boss. That was enough to get any CEO fired. Sure, but it's not enough to get criminal charges brought against them unless they coerce her in some way.
Yeah.
And she was energetic about sucking that dick.
Yeah. She never claimed that she was forced to do it, so far as I recall. That she was, she was enraptured by his power and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm happy to be corrected, but in no point do I recall one of the implications of the whole thing was that she was forced to do it.
No, she was happy to do it.
Yeah.
Jenna says, Monkey, did you and Sassy break up? No, it's just, one, this is our night off anyway. And usually he plays on Twitch and I just wander around talking to people. But this is one of my Super Bowl nights, guys. I fucking love politics. I do.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's psychological sort of scorekeeping and things.
Sure.
And like we talked about before, we don't have any control over it. We're just spectators of the whole thing. But half of the fun is gaming out, speculating, etc. Just like Chris Saliza does for a living, we do for fun.
Bad Comic Reviews says, "Oh, come on! Clearly, she just liked his brand of cigar."
Yeah.
Harvo's asking, "Am I still doing an election stream?" Yes, I will be going on my channel at about 11:30. Satsu will be over on his Twitch channel doing what's it called, Red Dead. By the way, I'll set up my Twitch channel, so I'm hosting you as well.
Okay.
Let's see. Prospero says, according to Charles C.W. Cook, I don't know who that is, Gillum is conceded to DeSantis. Oh.
That's about, yeah. Real quick, it's down to 6. According to
it's the final countdown.
According to CNN, 6 more House seats. They're still not calling the Scott Nelson one. Let's see if they called DeSantis. Nope, they still haven't called that one, even though, he lost. He lost, for fuck's sake. We know he lost.
Uh-oh. Polydub's here. Polly, look at that. The election results are turning out just like I called it. Always bet on Polly.
What do you mean they're turning out just how I called it?
I don't know. I don't know what he called. Let's see.
They just changed it. Oh. It's down to 4 now.
Oh, well, FC260 says NBC is calling the Democrats have taken the House officially.
They might have. Let's see. What do they have left for key ones that they say?
They might have called a couple early.
Well, there are still, according to the CNN map, a lot of the key races and they're all leaning blue. There's very few that are leaning red. So yeah, looking at this, they might pick up the House by 5 to 10 seats.
So so the thing to watch, guys, as we close in on the end of the show here, is when, and I'm just going to say, I'll go out on a limb here and say when the Democrats take the House in the next 24 to 48 hours. See what the reactions are. See what the winners say their intentions will be once they're inaugurated, Ocasio-Cortez, and see if any of that ever comes to any kind of fruition. Because, like we talked about, I'm not sure what big splash a slightly over-the-line Democratic House is going to be able to do to, quote-unquote, oppose Trump or challenge Trump any more than just stalling what he wants to do, which people have been doing anyway. I mean, it's not like the Republicans have rolled out the red carpet for everything that Trump wanted to do. So,
Alyssa Milano has tweeted out #Beto 2020.
Yeah, well, I guess we're looking forward, guys, because Beto, even in defeat, he's victorious.
She also tweeted out, Beto lost? That's okay. Now he can run for president. He could have ran for president anyway, you dumbass.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So Beto, Booker, Harris, and Warren. Those are our contenders now, I guess. Maybe. 2 minutes to go, guys. See if you have any last questions. Remember, at 11:30 Eastern or 8:30 Pacific time over on Monkey's channel, Monkey will be doing a follow-up or continuation election stream as more results will have come in by then, and we'll have a better idea of what things are going to look like. And over on 2 Cents Plus, Satsu will be playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Not the first one, second one.
Can we do let's do a quick election update before we wrap things up. According to CNN, the Senate still is 50 Republicans to 38 Democrats. There's still there's still other ones to come in, but they are calling that for the Republicans because they only need 50 for control with the vice president breaking ties.
Yep.
Over in the House, they call it 146 to 146 for Republicans, saying the Democrats only need to pick up 4 more seats for control because of seats that have flipped. Governorships, they give 13 to Democrats, 14 to Republicans with 2 flipped seats. And that's what they got going on now. We will check on those more when my stream starts.
Yep. And with that, guys, we're going to call it here because by the time I'm done with this, we'll be at the top of the hour. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. As you always do, you guys are the best audience in the world, and also on mysterious space probes from outside of our solar system. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. And moderators, thanks for keeping an eye on things, even though we have the best behaved chat in the world and beyond. And remember, guys, go see Monkey for more election stuff in about half an hour, and go over to Satsu in the next few minutes to watch him play cowboys and Indians, or Native Americans, sorry. Other than that, guys, Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always. Everyone, your lives make us sad. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Today's secret word is quorum.
What'd that mean?
What's a quorum?
Yeah, what's a quorum? That's what we asked.
It's a political term. Look it up.
Oh, I know. I do know what that means.
I'm glad you do.